Hey guys, welcome back to my tutorial for enna-sona. This is part 2 where I'll be covering what I like to call the chorus extension. Now as you can see from the sheet music, there are a couple of bars still remaining before the interlude part of enna-sona kicks in. So let's check it out. The chorus extension runs from bar number 25 to bar number 31. So that's 7 bars. And you can see bar number 25 and bar number 26 are exactly identical to how we play the enna-sona chorus. Let's just remind ourselves how that sounds. 5, 6, 7, and... Okay, now bars number 27 to 31 is where the timing gets a little bit more complicated. Before we dive into breaking down the timing, I'd just like to clarify what tied notes are. So tied notes are to be played as a single note with a duration equal to the sum of the individual notes' values. For example, as you can see in bar number 27, you've got 2 quavers tied together. Quavers are also known as an eighth note. It's called an eighth note because it requires 8 notes to complete a bar. To help me play quaver notes, I like to count with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So essentially, each one of these 8 beats would contain a quaver note to fill up a bar. So basically, if you've got a standalone quaver, then the duration for that is just 1. But if you've got 2 quavers tied, that's a duration of 1 and. Now let's properly dissect bar number 27, using our 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and count. So let me just demonstrate the right hand, which is basically the red notes. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. As you can see, the very first beat is actually a rest. So we don't play anything at 1. But at and 2, we've got G and B held down as they're tied together. And then at 2 and, we press F. So let's just try that. Just the first half of bar number 27. 1 and 2 and. And we basically repeat the same pattern in the second half of the bar. So again, first beat off, nothing, and then and 2 are held down with C and A, and we've got F again as our last note. So 1 and 2 and. But if we were to play the full thing, then I'd say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's focus on the left hand. In the left hand, you can see that the notes are dotted. When the notes are dotted, that basically means in the 1 and 2 and count, it would take up 1 and 2. So starting with the first note, which is G, we hold it down for 3 beats. 1 and 2 and. At 2 and, you lift your finger, and then we play F. 1 and 2, again, lift at and. So putting it all together, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now comes the part where we've got to try and put both the right and the left hand together. 5, 6, 7, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For those of you who are absolute beginners, this may be a very hard thing to do because you're not used to simultaneously playing both your left and right hand, especially when the beat is kind of off. But again, with practice, you'll get it for sure. Let's try bar number 27 one more time. 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, we can apply this count to bars 28, 29, 30, and 31. Let's now focus on bar number 28. We have rest, note, 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 rest, note, note, rest. So that's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So bar number 28 is pretty identical to bar number 27. The first half is exactly identical. It's just the second half of bar number 28, we have a rest, then 2 tight notes, and then a rest again. So that's 1, and 2, and. Once again, 1, and 2, and. Okay, so playing it again, we have 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And the left hand is exactly identical. Again, we have 2 dotted notes lasting 3 beats each. The first one being B flat, and the second one being F. So putting it together very slowly. 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Then bar number 29, starting with the right hand again. Rest, tight note, rest, rest, note, note. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So as you can see, the last note on bar number 29 is actually a crotchet. A crotchet means that it is played for 2 beats. So let's try that again. 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Once again, the left hand is doing exactly the same thing. We have B flat and A flat, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So putting it together, 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. One more time. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, now bars number 30 and 31 are the harder ones. We are introduced to a new note, which is a hollow note, which basically means that we're playing it for 2 full beats. But anyways, let's just start from the beginning. Let's just look at the top line of the right hand. So we have a rest first, and then followed by a dotted note, which we know lasts 3 beats. Then that's tied to a crotchet, which lasts 2 beats. And then we end off with another crotchet, which is also 2 beats. So let's just try the top line. 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And in the bottom line of the right hand, we have, again, a dotted note, which is tied to a minim. A minim is a note that is held down for 4 beats. So that's 1, and 2, and. So in total, that would be rest, which is 1. Then we play beginning with 1 and. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So essentially, the B natural is played throughout the bar after that rest. So putting it together, 5, 6, 7, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Similarly, in the left hand, we have a minim tied to a dotted note. So that's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4 and. Again, that's 4 beats for the minim and 3 beats for the dotted note. So that's 7 beats in total, leaving 1 note left for the last note in the bar, which is D. So let's try that again. 5, 6, 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So putting it together. 5, 6, 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And in our last bar, which is bar number 31, this is relatively easier. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And in our left hand, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So putting it together, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay guys, this is the end of part 2. I've got to say, part 2 is definitely harder than part 1. But if you go through it slowly and steadily, I'm sure you'll get it. In part 3, I'm going to be covering the interlude and the verse, so stay tuned for that. Thank you.